Morgan Stanley is about to release the Bitcoin bulls as they give the green light to their 15,000 wealth advisors to promote the BlackRock and Fidelity Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. This is going to bring in a ton of capital. And Congressman Ro Khanna, a Democrat, is hosting another meeting with Kamala Harris's team and the crypto industry next week. And the CFTC is going after ETH Network, Ben Armstrong, BitBoy Crypto's former company, over the Ben coin and other promotions. We're going to break this down and much more. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we have to start by taking a look at the price of Bitcoin because there's red candles all about. People are starting to get fearful. There's a bit of panic because both the stock market, the Bitcoin and the crypto market are all crashing. But guys, check your emotions at the door. Let's calm down and let's look at facts. Let's look at metrics. So what the hell is happening with the stock market, right? Because we know there's a correlation with crypto and the stock market. If we look at the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, both were in the overbought zone with the RSI over 70. And that is textbook, guys. Go read about RSI. Fidelity has an entire educational guide on this. And let me just read an excerpt here. RSI is considered overbought when above 70 and oversold when below 30. These traditional levels can also be adjusted if necessary to better fit the security. For example, if a security is repeatedly reaching the overbought level of 70, you may want to adjust this level to 80. And it talks about, these things can lead to price corrections. Well, look at that. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 were both hitting that 80 on the RSI level, breaking through 70. So what did you think was going to happen, right? Well, zoom out, you see the same pattern going back to years and years. And if we just look at the past year, the same thing. Every time overbought, correction. Then it gets oversold, pumps. Then overbought, dumps. Then oversold, pumps, right? Same thing. This is why you have to understand the charts and the metrics, guys. This is what changed my life when it comes to investing, because prior to this, I was going with my emotions and what the narratives are in the news. The news are saying, oh, the jobs report caused the market to crash. Oh, recession fears, right? It has nothing to do with that. So we are seeing typical market cycles play out here. And of course, there's the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin and crypto, and it's all tied to global liquidity. Bitcoin is feeling that gravitational pull with the liquidity being sucked out of the stock market and so forth. But its RSI, while it didn't break the 70 mark, it was very close. It was around 68. So it's pulling back just like the stock market. But what's interesting, guys, the DXY, the dollar currency index, is dumping as well. So I know you may say, Tony, you always tell us there's an inverse correlation. Yes, but it's not 100% accurate. And sometimes there's a lag. So for example, the DXY crashing here, eventually the liquidity will move to the assets as they hit the overbought zone. And then you're going to see an epic rally as the DXY continues to break down and show weakness. So please understand, it's not a instantaneous thing that all of a sudden the DXY is dumping. That means assets have to pump. There's usually a lag. So please understand that. So guys, the metrics are telling us these things were overbought and they were due for a cool down. There has not been any invalidation of the bull market and the uptrend we're in. As I've been telling you guys, we're in a macro bull market for crypto stocks, real estate, and so forth. And guys, here's some more bullish news. The M2 money supply, the US M2 money supply, has crossed $21 trillion once again. If you go and look at this on the Federal Reserve website, and you even just do a 5-year outlook, right? There was incredible liquidity that was put in 2020, 2021. We know they printed trillions and so forth. And then the Fed started tightening come 2022. They started selling the securities, raising rates, and then you saw that liquidity dip. Well, all of a sudden, it's on the increase. So you know what that means, folks. Boom and bust, rinse and repeat. They're going to start cutting, as Jerome Powell signaled. They're going to start printing money. And one of the things I highlighted to you guys the other day, or literally yesterday, Janet Yellen and the folks at the Treasury are increasing their liquidity injections. So you have rate cuts, the signal coming, September into Q4. And then you have Janet Yellen and Treasury injecting liquidity. And all of these things are going to lead to higher asset prices. Not only is the liquidity growing in the United States, it's happening globally. China injected money into their stock market and so forth. And then you have rate cuts have already started in other countries. So it means we're going back to easy money, more money printing. I'm not saying that I want that to happen. I'm just stating the facts, because sometimes people are like, dude, that's not good. I know it's not good, but the only way to save yourself is to diversify into assets. So you outpace the debasement, you outpace the inflation, and you grow your wealth. So that's what we're doing here, right? I'm not trying to say keep printing money until the governments figure out a solution. This is the story. This is how it goes. So until maybe they do something with blockchain and Bitcoin, I don't know, or CBDCs, we'll have to wait and see. But this is the name of the game. So, guys, I'm bullish. I gave you facts, metrics here, not my emotions, not my hopes and dreams, but what I'm seeing on the charts and the different data points on the macro as well. And here's some very bullish news, which indicates that institutional investors know there's higher highs coming. Morgan Stanley tells wealth advisors they can pitch Bitcoin ETFs in a first for a big bank. Folks, there's so many of the Wall Street firms who have not touched the ETFs as yet. And Morgan Stanley is one of the biggest. In fact, I interviewed an ex-BlackRock VP who now works at Mike Novogratz's Galaxy Digital. The interview was published this morning, and he was literally talking about this. And it's serendipitous where the news broke this morning that I published the interview of these big wirehouses and so forth that have not given the green light for their folks to start pitching this. So here it is. It's coming. What do you think this is going to do? One of the biggest Wall Street banks and firms, they're going to bring in a ton more capital, folks. So Morgan Stanley on Friday told its army of financial advisors that it will soon allow them to offer Bitcoin ETFs to some clients, a first among major Wall Street banks, CNBC has learned. The firm's 15,000 or so financial advisors can solicit eligible clients to purchase shares of 2 exchange-traded Bitcoin funds starting August 7th. That's just next week, according to people with the knowledge of the policy. Those funds are BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust and Fidelity's Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund. So they're starting with BlackRock and Fidelity. I hope you see what's happening here. Morgan Stanley's not caring about this pullback. They're probably going to use this as a buying opportunity, right? To allow their clients to get diversification, buy the lows, and then they'll sell the highs, right, guys? That they know what they're doing. They have rooms full of analysts, tons of bots and algorithms and so forth. They know the deal. And unless you're financially educated, where you understand market cycles and these metrics I'm showing you, you're like a plastic bag caught in the wind. You're just blowing with it, right? Listening to Jim Cramer. But this is why I keep preaching, guys. Look at these metrics. You can go pull them up. I share my screen. I show what's on TradingView. I show you what's on the RSI. I showed you with Fidelity's website with the educational section on RSI. Go read up on that. I showed you the M2 money supply in the US on the Fed's website. You can go pull that up. I am not here to play games. I'm here to make money. And these are the things I'm seeing. And this is very bullish news. I hope you guys understand what's happening here. And as always, game theory will play out. The other firms are going to follow Morgan Stanley's lead here. We saw it with the ETFs. We've seen it time and time again. And just recently, Goldman Sachs CEO, I think it was last week, came out and said, Bitcoin, he's bullish on Bitcoin. They're going to launch tokenization projects, and the rest is history. They're all here. You can't sit on the fence anymore. If you don't adapt to this technology, you will get left behind, and you could have your blockbuster moment where you go bankrupt. All right, guys, moving ahead, we got big news that Congressman Ro Khanna, who I recently had on the podcast, he's a Democrat, one of the top Democrats out of California. He's very familiar with tech. He's been heading up Silicon Valley, or representing Silicon Valley, for a long time. Well, he's going to host another meeting with Kamala Harris's team and the crypto industry to, I quote, help repair crypto relations. This is being reported by Eleanor Tart of Fox Business. So he recently held a roundtable with Mark Cuban. So it looks like he's making another push. And there's talks that Kamala Harris's team has met with Ripple, Coinbase, A16Z, and other industry leaders. So this is very bullish. And I'm not advocating to go vote for Kamala Harris. My goal here is to make sure crypto is a bipartisan issue, not a partisan issue. It shouldn't be, oh, Democrats are anti-crypto and Republicans are pro-crypto. That is not the case. I know Elizabeth Warren made it that way, but it shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't even be an election issue. So my hope is that Kamala Harris comes out with a pro-crypto policy and it balances the situation because Donald Trump is pro-crypto. So it takes that issue off the table. People can go vote for whatever other issues that we have. And there's many more, right? Everybody has a different walk of life, a different perspective. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. You are an adult and I'm here to report the news. And then you form your own conclusions and make your own decisions as an adult. I'm not here to tell you to go vote this person, go vote that person. No, that's up to you because your first issue may not be crypto. It could be many other things. So guys, this is looks promising, but as I've been saying, talk is cheap. Kamala Harris, where you at? I haven't seen one word out of your mouth and I haven't seen any action taken. And those are the facts. So until we see something, this is all for a dog and pony show. And look, I am optimistic they can do something, but at the end of the day, don't tell me, show me. So Eleanor Tart says this meeting was originally supposed to take place on Monday, but it got pushed back to later in the week. So essentially it's happening next week. I'm hoping to hear some details. Maybe I'll try to get Congressman Ro Khanna back on the podcast to talk about this. And let's see what they're able to come up with. But it's promising. It's a good sign. But show me, don't tell me. Now, guys, we got some details as to why Senator Roger Marshall, a Republican, backed out of Senator Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto bill. If you recall, I reported on this news, I think it was last week, and this was a huge loss for Elizabeth Warren. One of the biggest names in her anti-crypto army who was co-sponsoring this bill just dropped out. And I mean, it's a big win for the industry. So here's a quote from Roger Marshall. I think that it probably goes too far in the know your customer, he said, adding that Bitcoin miners shouldn't be subject to KYC requirements. I think I was a little bit misinformed on how to get all the way up the crypto chain. Shout out to Taylor Barr who highlighted this. He's of the Digital Chamber. So you have folks at the Digital Chamber, the Satoshi Act Fund, Blockchain Association. All these firms have been doing a lot of advocacy and spreading knowledge in DC, and knowledge is winning here, folks, and education is winning here because Roger Marshall said he didn't understand. He was misinformed, most likely by Elizabeth Warren. And he's like, you know what? I can't back this nonsense. I'm getting out of it. And that's a huge loss for Elizabeth Warren. And we're seeing her cronies are dropping like flies in the elections. They're losing support. And crypto has amassed over $200 million to support pro-crypto candidates. So are on a deserted island by themselves. So this is big news. Here, Alexander Grieve highlighted the following from Republican SEC Commissioner Mark Ueda. He says, in a data standard protocol, Mark Ueda calls for ideas around decentralized disclosure from crypto companies and protocols. There are great people at the SEC. The guy at the top just ruins everything. We know who he's talking about, and that is scumbag regulator Gary Gensler, who should be fired. It's unbelievable what the SEC has become under this guy. All right, guys, quick word from our sponsor, and that is BitGo. BitGo is one of the top crypto custodians in the industry. They're headed up by Mike Belshie, who's a Web 1.0 and 2.0 legend. The man was at Netscape, he was at Google, and now he's here building in Web 3. Many big companies in the crypto industry use BitGo for custody, such as Pantera Capital, that's Dan Morehead, Bitstamp Exchange, Bitcoin IRA. Nike uses BitGo's wallet services for their NFTs. And the services that BitGo offer include hot wallets, custodial wallets, self-managed cold wallets, and NFT wallets. So if you'd like to learn more about BitGo, visit bitgo.com. Guys, we got some news here that the CFTC subpoenas Ben BitBoy Armstrong's former company in fraud investigation, asked about activity for tokens such as Ben. So this is messy. And many of you know BitBoy. He's had his ups and downs with his life and all kinds of stuff. Substance abuse and so forth. And I'm not here to judge the man, but I'm just reporting the facts. And it seems like the CFTC is like, okay, we're going to see what the hell is going on here. So HIT Network was the company that eventually took over uh, BitBoy's channel and all that stuff. And we know how that relationship ended. So they're going to look into the tokens such as the Ben coin and other token promotions they did back in 2020. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but I don't know if they promoted things and did not disclose that they were token holders. I always disclose my sponsors, right? I clearly tell you about that. It's disclosed in my description of my podcast and so forth. So that's the thing. You have to disclose that you're promoting a token and you are paid to do so, or you're a token holder, right? So let's see what happens. But this could get really messy because we've seen a lot of drama follow Ben Armstrong, BitBoy. So let's see where things go. All right, we got news here that HashKey's over-the-counter trading unit awarded Singapore's payment license. So around the globe, we're seeing expansion, licenses getting acquired, mergers and acquisition, and much more. So the license, which allows the firms to offer a number of digital asset-related services, was introduced following the Payment Services Act of 2019. So guys, you see, these things take years sometimes. A lot of these companies are waiting for the licenses to deploy more capital, so to speak, and launch new services for institutional investors and retail investors. So OTC, we know for the most part is institutional. That's where you buy, like crypto assets, but it's not recorded on the open market like an exchange. So for example, a high net worth individual who's maybe a multimillionaire can go buy millions in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, whatever it is, over the counter, and none of that is recorded on the open market, what price they bought at, how much, and so forth. Now, you may surmise, okay, some stuff moved from this wallet to that wallet, but it has no effect on the price, the buying and selling, and so forth. And that's what a lot of whales do. They buy over the counter and they buy directly from miners and so forth. So they don't use what retail uses. They don't go to the Coinbase app and buy, or Uphold or something, and buy in the open market. They'll go, it's kind of the back room thing where no one knows it except those folks. So very interesting news here. So Genesis completes bankruptcy restructuring, begins distributing $4 billion in crypto and cash. So crypto lender Genesis Global has completed its restructuring process on Friday after filing for bankruptcy protection in January 2023. The firm is also beginning to distribute $4 billion worth of assets to its remaining creditors. On average, Genesis creditors will recover 64% of their in-kind cryptocurrency repayments, though it will vary coin by coin. So guys, we're seeing the absolute cleanup of all the legacy 2022 debacles. And obviously Genesis was a big one with Gemini and the earn situation. And thankfully, that has been resolved with the earn users. They got their money back, and FTX bankruptcy taken care of. Celsius, I believe they're somewhat taken care of as well. So this is good. The cleanup, nature is healing, right? We can put these things behind us and go for the moon and higher prices. And look, there's the Wall Streeters are here, the institutional investors, and I think the bar has been raised higher with custody and security and so forth. So this is all good. I want these things to be wrapped up sooner than later so we can put them behind us. Check this out. Instagram and Facebook veteran joins crypto VC firm Paradigm as the CMO. So David Swan is the new chief marketing officer. So the hire comes shortly after Paradigm raised $850 million for its third fund in June. So Paradigm is one of the biggest investment firms in crypto, guys. And look at the amount of money they raise for their third fund, not the first, not the second, the third. It's pretty amazing. And of course, they're deploying that capital into companies building the infrastructure of the market, but also buying tokens. And I often like to pay attention to where they're putting their money and look at their portfolio, especially like A16Z. I had not too long ago interviewed Avichal Garg of Electric Capital, where they have 2 billion in assets under management. They're one of the top crypto investment firms as well. So guys, lots of capital is coming into this market. The exodus from TradFi into crypto is happening. As I mentioned, I interviewed an ex-BlackRock VP who's now working at a crypto investment firm, Galaxy Digital. And that interview was published earlier, so be sure to check it out. So guys, I'm bullish. I don't care what the hell the price is doing here. There hasn't been any invalidation of the bull market. I'm looking at the macro factors. I'm looking at different metrics in the charts and so forth. Data driven, not emotional driven. If there's an invalidation, I will be here telling you guys this thing has been invalidated. Pack your bags, let's go home. It's over, right? But there hasn't been anything like that. And while it may be stomach churning and it's a roller coaster ride, when the market's so volatile, you got to hang in there. You got to check your emotions at the door. Sometimes it's good to step away from the charts. Don't look at them. I've done that. It's good for your mental health, right? Step away, go out and do something. Don't look at the prices. If you know, like, okay, we're on the way down. Like, I don't plan to look at the prices at all for this weekend. I'm going to go out and do things. I'm sharing this in full transparency because experience is a great teacher, and I've learned these things, and I'm hoping to help some of you who are now entering the market, or it's your first or maybe even second bull market cycle. While it's my third, these things are very helpful, guys, when it comes to investing and maintaining your perspective and not getting trapped in some sort of emotional roller coaster of what the market is doing. All right, folks, let me know what you think. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to subscribe for my free email newsletter on Substack. It's 100% free, filled with crypto insights and knowledge. Link will be in the description. Also, grab a copy of my book, folks. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. Grab a copy for yourself. Grab a couple copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. It includes tips for investing in crypto. If you bought a copy already, please, please, please leave a rating and review. It will really help out my rankings. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.